Hi and welcome to another video from Howell Reese Artist. I hope this finds you well wherever you are in the world. The topic for today is landscape painting, something which I haven't actually done very much of in my painting career so far, simply because of the complexity of it. There's no background that you can simplify out of existence. You have to pay attention to a lot more things. But landscape photography is something that I love and something I've done since childhood. It's certainly an ambition of mine to get into more landscape painting. I have done some in the past, and if you look back in my videos you'll find one or two, but not very much. Now, because it is very complex, to try and do the whole of a thing, a whole of a painting in one video is just never going to work, unless you use a lot of time lapse and speeding up and all that sort of thing, which I don't really want to do at the moment. I'll try it in future, but it's not really for me at the moment. So what I want to do today is set the scene. And just in this one video set the scene, and then we'll come back in subsequent videos and look at different things, different aspects of painting the particular landscape. Now, before we actually get into that, I would just like to make an apology. I've become aware that the audio quality, particularly of my videos, has suffered recently. It's actually since I started to use this new laptop, and it's taken me some time to get to grips with it. It's my responsibility, and I apologise for that. Shouldn't blame the tool. It's the user of the tool, isn't it? And certainly I've been looking at ways of getting around that without having to spend a lot of money. But in the end I've had to bite the bullet. Just up here you can just see this is the screen in front of a professional quality microphone that I've purchased, and I hope that will be the end of the audio problems. I'm still not totally satisfied with the visual quality when I'm recording this opening sequence, even though I brought in more of my professional lights. I think the camera may be not up to it, but it at least enables me to, it's straight in front of me, it enables me to speak to you directly, whereas if in previous videos before I started to use this laptop, you'll be aware that I was looking to one side, because the camera was off to one side, and it made life quite awkward as a viewing experience, I would have thought. So I'll see about that, but yeah, hopefully at least very much better audio quality, and one day I'll get a chair that doesn't creak as well, which will improve things even more. So let's have a look at the photograph that we're going to paint. Now this is an area, a favourite area of mine in Derbyshire, which is not far from where I live. It takes probably about an hour to get there, and it's called the Lumsdale Falls. It's near the county town of Matlock, and you can look it up online, and if you've got a good sat nav you will find it. It is a very narrow, small valley, and there's not much parking in the valley itself, but then again, not that many people know about it, so it's not normally a problem. And I certainly go, pandemics permitting, I've gone most years to photograph there. The photograph you can see on the right hand side of the screen is, let me just see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you. That's probably better, isn't it? Just make it even more. There we go. the photograph on the right is the original one as it came out of the camera. Nothing's been done to that at all. That is absolutely as was taken on the day when I actually visited the valley earlier this year with a guy that I was doing some one-to-one training with in photography. You can see there's quite a lot of mess in the foreground. There's tree branches have come down. I didn't turn my camera up into portrait mode. That was a deliberate choice because I didn't want the sky in the photograph. I could do it quite adequately in landscape mode. But for the actual thing I want to paint, I've decided to put at a crop of the original photograph, which is the photograph on the left hand side of your screen, in portrait mode, to give the impression of the height of the waterfall, and it also cuts out a lot of the background that I don't want to distract my viewers when they're looking at the painting. Now I've also done some subtle editing to this photograph in order to save myself work later on. Excuse me. I could have done this editing in inverted commas when I was actually painting, but I have a skill set in editing photographs, and it was quicker and easier for me to do it in the photograph before I started painting. I've removed some of the clutter in the foreground, these branches that have come down over the winter time. I've darkened certain areas, I've darkened the sides. You can see, if you look at the tree that's just in the top, as I'm going to point it out to you, the tree that's here, then you will see that in the one that I'm going to paint from, the version that I'm going to paint from, is rather darker than in the original. Now, darkening things down removes or lessens them as visual distractions. Our eyes are programmed, our brains are programmed to look at bright objects. Now, the brightest object in the original photograph and in the edited photograph is the waterfall, and fine, that's what I want you to look at. I don't want you to look too much at the tree and the building and the rocks, and so I've just darkened them down subtly, not a huge amount, because I know actually the very process of painting will itself tend to darken them a little bit. But I've made those visual adjustments before getting started, and so let's have a look at the in a little bit more detail at the can't remember how to get back to the thing now. It does. We just close that. There we go. Now we've got the photograph that I'm actually going to paint from. The clutter's gone in the foreground. The surrounds have been darkened down so that they don't distract, and we are left with the main object, the bright object in the picture, being the waterfall. Now, I did leave deliberately leave some bright areas just to the right hand side, because I thought that actually sort of enhanced the photograph a bit, and it didn't distract, because your eye tends to go to the top of the waterfall, work down, then it sees these bright rocks on the right hand side, and then comes down to the bottom. So next week, or in the next video, what we'll do is actually start painting the water, which is great fun and gives me as an artist the ability to enhance reality much more than is possible in the photograph. And then when we've done that, no doubt we'll come back again and look at painting the background and deciding what to leave in and what to leave out. So I hope that's been enjoyable for you. I hope that the rest of your week is a good week, and I'll hope to see you again soon. Every blessing now.